to the Creator Zone. My name is LaCrystal Robinson, aka LaCrystal the Creator, and thank you for joining me today. Today is a special video because I wanted to talk about International Women's Day. For those who don't know, International Women's Day is a global holiday celebrated around the world annually on March 8th to commemorate the cultural, political, and socioeconomic achievements of women. This year's theme is Breaking Barriers. I'm excited to be here because I've always believed strongly in women empowerment. My shirt, Empowered Women and Empower Women, has always been a model for me because I am a woman. But most importantly, I'm a Black woman that I stand strongly in, but also making sure that I support women around the world of all different colors, all different shades, because it's hard out here. It's even more difficult being a Black woman, but making sure that our voices are heard, making sure that we stand up for ourselves, that we aren't disrespected, and that I really kind of set a tone for myself. I grew up in a family full of strong Black women who really made it known that I could be anything I put my mind to, and that's something that I definitely did. I shot for the stars, and I'm happy to say that I'm floating in the galaxy. I still have a lot of dreams that I wish to accomplish, but if it wasn't for that support system, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it's from having that strong foundation and circle of women that were my family to now having a great friend circle, and then also having peers that I've worked with and colleagues of women who have really showed that it is possible to have to be a mother and also to have a career, or not even to be a mother, just be a woman that's strong in business, to be a boss in her own sense, to be a leader and not feel like you have to kind of crouch down or be afraid to kind of stand up and flip the table. So I'm very happy that I've been in this environment where I know that women, we keep the royal rolling. We keep the ball going. We keep people alive, we keep ourselves alive, but also realizing that it is a lot of biases and stereotypes that we have to face and that we have to overcome, that we're not often taken as serious, that being a little bit too loud might get you called a bitch, and being a little bit too shy might make you call like you're not confident. So knowing that we're often pressured to kind of be in this balance of not being too loud and being a little bit more timid, to dumbing ourselves down to make men feel a little bit better about themselves. But for me, that's not going to work. And today I want to say for other women, that's not going to work anymore. I've always kind of prided myself on being this voice, being strong, being independent, but now realizing that it shouldn't be a requirement for me to be strong. There should be those instances where I do feel like I can be weak and I can be gullible, not gullible, I can be vulnerable, and I can be open to how I feel and express my feelings without feeling like I'm being judged for it. But rather than dive too in that, I just want to kind of speak to my story recently that really kind of tapped into me saying, women, I know we go through a lot, but for me, it was even more of a sense of sometimes our bodies go through a lot. In August, I found out I was pregnant. I was super excited, prepared, happy to have a little boy, my first pregnancy, and really looking forward to say, I wasn't planning on it, but this has happened. God has blessed me. So how are we going to move forward? I'm planning to be like the best mommy I could possibly be. But then came January 20th. Before I had a smooth pregnancy, no complications, everything was going well. Just went to the doctor to get some ultrasounds taken, and everything looked fine. And then on January 20th, I started to experience some pains. Noticed that it was like felt like cramps, but I wasn't quite sure what exactly it was. So I endured it for like a few hours. Then when it got to the point of saying, hey, let me call my doctor, let me see what is really going on, I went to the ER. Then after the ER, they told me, okay, it's probably gas or something, like not as serious. So went back home, but then noticed that the pain was still happening and it ended up being more frequent. So went back to the hospital. Then I experienced some bleeding, and before you know it, my water bust. And your water busting at 22 weeks is not a good thing. It was to the point where I didn't have time because everything was happening so fast, the baby was coming. So I was rushed to the hospital, and that's where I went into labor and ended up delivering a baby boy that was breached. However, he wasn't breathing because his lungs didn't have the support that he needed, and therefore he didn't make it. But I'm blessed to say, after enduring that, it really showed the the amount of pressure that's on like our bodies as women. We're often told that, okay, and we're also often questioned about, okay, when are you having a baby, or when are you starting a family, you're getting older, and we hear this thing so often that we kind of second guess it, but not realizing that it's so many components that come into kind of giving birth and experiencing childbirth. There are many women who struggle with infertility, who struggle with getting pregnant, who struggle with actually delivery. And so by putting that pressure on women without really kind of saying, hey, we just care about you having a baby, we don't care about you as a person, I think is like really wrong. We're forced to say, hey, you have to bring a baby into this world in order to be considered a woman. And that's definitely not the case. Some women want babies and some don't. And I think that's a bias that a lot of us face, is saying, hey, you have to be a mother. You have to start a family. You have to kind of give up your life to take care of your family. But that's not true. I see many people who do it all, and I see many people who pick and choose what they want to do, and it's up to us. I feel that a lot of politicians want to voice their opinion on what a woman should be allowed to do, whether they should be able to use contraceptives, whether abortion is right, or whether it should be legal. But I feel if you're not a woman, if you don't have a vagina, if you're not the one who will laying basically on your deathbed giving birth, having one foot in the grave and one foot on the earth, going through the pressure, going through the changes on your body, on your mental, on your physical, emotional steps, then you shouldn't have a say in what we can and cannot do. And so it's infuriating hearing so many opinions being voiced, but it's not opinions of women who actually go through this on a daily. So it really, this experience really opened my eyes, because I've always been big on like women empowerment, supporting women, saying, hey, we need to have a sister circle. I started a group before called like Say Yes, standing for Young, Educated, and Single, really about defining yourself, defining who you are. And then now seeing that, okay, I always thought about stuff from like a mental standpoint, building yourself up, being confident in who you are, but never thinking about the toll that it takes on our bodies. And I think that's something that really needs to be said, because going through that experience, honestly, the only thing that has really gotten me through is speaking to other women and hearing them say, hey, I experienced something like this. Reading articles and doing research, seeing where women kind of tell their story about their stillbirth or their miscarriages, and then realizing that it happens so often, but it's often not spoken about, whether it's just because it's too difficult, because it is a mourning process. It is, people do experience grief from this, because essentially you've been growing this being in your body for so long, and now you don't have it anymore. That is a big adjustment. So a lot of people might not talk about it for that reason. A lot of women sometimes feel shame. They feel like, okay, people are going to look down on me. I'm less of a woman because I can't have a baby. And I think that that's so wrong. It shouldn't take us bringing a life to this earth to feel that we are enough. We are enough, no matter what. If we want to have a baby or if we don't want to have a baby. If our bodies allow us to or if it doesn't. We all are very different in our own way. And I think a part of being a woman is knowing that we too are diverse. We too are different. We have our own experiences. And that's something we should own up and be comfortable with. We are enough. We don't need society to say what is enough for us. We don't need men to say what is enough for us. And we don't need other women to kind of compare ourselves to and say, hey, they have all this going on. Why am I not where they are? You are enough if no one else has told you that. And that's something you need to say to yourself. We need to focus more on empowering ourselves, because the more we empower ourselves, the more then we can go out and empower others. So the situation was tough for me because this is my first experience. However, I'm thankful for the experience. I'm thankful for my son who's in heaven now. I'm thankful that now I know what to expect moving forward. Now I have this chapter in my book because I can share it with other women. I can have it to talk to them about who may experience this, because I don't think it's something that's going to go away, because doing research, it's amazing to me how much knowledge or how much or the lack thereof information around why these things happen. They might say it's complications, it was an infection, umbilical cord, just something in the fluid wasn't right. It's so many different, it could have been, but it's really hard to kind of pinpoint exactly what it was. And so for those who often want to answer, and that's something I struggled with too, there's not always an answer to the problem of why it happened. But just knowing that what it took was a great support system. Having the sister circle I could talk to, having people that shared their experience online is what pulled me through. And I think what will continue to pull others through is just the storytelling. I mean, I struggled with saying, okay, how am I going to tell people? I just posted about, hey, I'm pregnant, happy for 2022, and now my 2022 has shifted a great change because I thought I was becoming a mother, but that plan has taken a different turn, and it is tough. It is experience of saying, oh, maybe I'm a little embarrassed or maybe I'm a little bit shamed, but I am coming out of this a little bit more empowered because now I can talk to more people about it. And like I said, it's just another experience that I have gone through that I can tell more women that you're not alone. This isn't something that you should be ashamed of or even afraid of. It happens. And now I am blessed to say I have a doctor who's like really on it and saying, okay, we're going to figure out what happened and we're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. So really having that support system that you really need and you really can help you heal in a sense. But you always remember it, and I'll always remember that experience too. And as we talk more about International Women's Day, the theme again is breaking barriers, breaking biases. I want more women to kind of take charge and say it's our bodies, our choice, it's your journey. Don't focus on what other people might have to say. Don't focus on people, again, putting that pressure on you to say, hey, you're old, you need to do this, your reproductive system doesn't work anymore. Like, don't worry about that. Worry about what you want your experience to be. Because when it comes to that day where it might be your time to go, the only person that matters is you and your God. You have to answer to yourself. You have to live with the decisions you make. So don't let other people make you feel like you have to be something or do something that you don't want to do. It's your choice. You have to live for yourself. And we as women have so much pressure on us. Just speaking from the standpoint of me and my friends group, we're often saying, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. And we kind of put ourselves last in a sense. We're so focused on being mothers, being employees, being sisters, being girlfriends, wives, that we neglect who we are as people. And then we experience this time period of saying, who am I? What is important to me? Like, yes, you can be there for others, but you can't. My granny always say you can't pour from an empty glass. So making sure that you're tapping in to what's important to you and you kind of rediscover and still tap into who you are as a person. Because when you're not happy, it shows and it affects everything around you. So, nonetheless, I just want to wish you all a happy International Women's Day. Commit to empowering another woman because, again, empowered women empower women. And as we continue to grow as people, we can continue to grow in this world. Thank you.